Welcome back to Straight Facts by Dinar Investor.
So I already know one of my followers is taking my information from Texas, and we both know who you are, and you're sharing it over with Frank 26. And if Frank 26 was a man, I'm going to propose something to him. So you can share this with him like you have everything else. My proposition to Frank 26 is let's do a live phone debate. And Frank, if you're the man you say you are, and if your team is as smart as you say you and your entire team are, let's have a live phone debate. And I will respect you as long as you don't act like the typical smart idiot that you normally do. If you're civil, I will show you the same respect back. And let's have a live phone debate, okay? I don't need to show you disrespect. Your knowledge will prove how clueless and ignorant you really are. Again, I will not disrespect you, but I can turn facts on you and make you look terribly clueless, because I can see right through you right now. I can see the real truth that you've brought to this community. So let's do this, Frank. What do you say?
Abdul Mahdi announces a reshuffle and the date of submission of the names of special grades and positions posted by Walter. October 9, 2019 release date. The 9th of October 2019 21:56, 189 times read. Report this ad. Prime Minister Abdul Mahdi announced on Wednesday a cabinet reshuffle that will be sent to Parliament for a vote at tomorrow's session. Abdul Mahdi said in a speech this evening addressed to the Iraqi people, and preach the patient, who are afflicted by a calamity. They said, I am for God, and I am the province of my people, and the sons of our sons and daughters. Allah and his blessings. Report this ad. Is the second time I address it in a matter of a week, truthful speech from the heart to the heart, at a sensitive stage experienced by the country. We passed a week faced by Iraq, all of Iraq, social and political challenge for developing democracy, ASAP, in which citizens came out demonstrations guaranteed to them by the Constitution, and exited the security of your troops. The structure is intact, and a sincere commitment to lead the constitutional and legal duty to protect the demonstrators and the lives of public and private property. Report this ad. We gave strict instructions not to use live bullets, but nevertheless, a large number of demonstrators and security forces fell as a result of the shooting. Yes, there are legitimate about what happened during the last few days questions. We are studying in depth, and professionalism and objectivity are now being detailed investigations into all events sites. But in front of a clear fact does not and will not change, and we must agree on them, and that act here all of us, that are loyal forces and jar, the duty. We have an audience wanted to express their demands for peaceful demonstrations. Report this ad. Let it be clear to all of us, it is not contradictory that we are with the demonstrations, with the security forces and with the freedom of the media and activists at the same time. These are all brothers in one country. All these are one fact. And belonging one. The goal of one. The building of a citizen state, made, patron and protector of its people, in his long march to achieve its legitimate goals and aspirations. Therefore, we reject together the logic of sedition. We will stand together against selfish schemes. We will always stand with the legitimate demands of the demonstrators. We will always stand in support of our security forces. And we will always stand with public freedoms. Report this ad. It is non-state with the state conflict, and chaos with order and respect for the law. Advocates of chaos will not succeed, and we will stand one man in front of the danger that threatens us all if shaken the foundations of the state's size. It is great our house that brings us together, and that saves us, under his shadow, our rights, our ambitions and our future. Those who target or seek to weaken the state are mistaken. This generous people line many of the stories of heroism, fortitude and nobility over the past few days. We've seen the policeman addresses the protester, and protester irrigates soldier. The cases of assault or carrying out arson and vandalism, they do not belong to this people, whether on demonstrators or public interests or private or security forces, satellite TV, party headquarters, media, activists, bloggers or other communication sites that respect the Constitution, law and order. Report this ad. It is your unity, you Iraqis, your democratic system, despite what you suffered for years of destruction, wars, killing and terrorism. With your unity, you defeated ISIS yesterday. With your unity, we strengthen our democratic values and public freedoms, and with your unity we build a house, Iraq, where we work together to overcome all the negative situations that the demonstrations came out to remedy. Today, we are moving from the outrage to deep sorrow, sincere review and reform. We have lost a large number of martyrs and wounded, from our sons and daughters, from demonstrators and security forces. Report this ad. at a time when this sacrificing country is proud to lose one drop of blood. Her loyal sons, all her sons, without distinction between a civilian and a military, between a protester and a security man, and a man of information and activist. We lost, with broken hearts, brother and brother, father and son, mother and daughter, and friend. We have, God, left us in the hearts of pain, and free livers, and deep wounds. But we have the messenger of Allah, peace be upon him and his family, good example, we say, the eye to tear, and the heart to grieve, and I am for your parting. Report this ad. It is time for the Iraqi wound to heal with the hard work and sincere giving to serve this people. The people must stop with pride and respect, contemplation and sorrow. Therefore, we decided the following. First, declaration of public mourning in Iraq, for 3 days. Starting tomorrow Thursday to Saturday. Second, conducting transparent fundamentalist investigations to honor heroes and sacrifices, and to hold accountable those who did not abide by the orders and rules of engagement, and to all ranks. We have begun to receive the results of the field investigations and will continue to investigate the events associated with the demonstrations or the subsequent attacks. Report this ad. Third, to initiate immediate measures to arrange the material and moral rights of the families of the martyrs, in accordance with the laws in force. Fourth, promote the wounded of the military, honor the civilians, materially and morally, and ensure their treatment at the expense of the government, whether from the security forces or peaceful demonstrators. Fifth, honoring the family of every martyr, and honoring every wounded person, with the highest allocation within the authority of the Prime Minister. Sixth, immediately release the detainees, who are under investigation, if there is no evidence against them to commit criminal cases related to murder or serious harm to persons, property or public security, if they are sponsored by any known party. Report this ad. As we turn the page of violence, and the bloodshed of Iraqis, we are opening the page of real, comprehensive review. The review process must take place at 2 levels, urgent actions, and comprehensive reforms. We have started early, intensified all efforts, to identify the most important government can do to respond to the demands of the demonstrators, and to achieve as much as possible, while avoiding the use of prosthetic solutions that contradict the strategic plans and government program, and disrupt the real reform desired. In this regard, the Council of Ministers issued in an emergency session last Saturday night a first package of resolutions, in response to the demands of the demonstrators and the people, included 17 decisions, including, report this ad. Open the door for application on residential land within the grand housing plan promised by the government. The distribution of 17,000 plots in Basra Governorate, followed by the rest of the governorates. The construction of more than 100,000 housing units, with the poorest governorates giving priority. The granting of 150,000 unemployed who are currently unable to work a monthly grant for 3 months. And the granting of 150,000 other unemployed opportunity for training and qualification, and we provide them with monthly payments for 3 months, and lend the successful ones to start their own entrepreneurial projects. Report this ad. And provide about 450,000 jobs through the establishment of commercial marketing complexes. To identify 600,000 disadvantaged families for social welfare salaries, and our goal is that there will be no Iraqi families without income to raise them above the poverty line as a minimum. As we issued on Tuesday, a second package of urgent measures, including promote productive vocational education to create 20,000 jobs, granting preparatory students with facilities, land and money to boost production, support agriculture, invest land, create jobs. Report this ad. Oblige universities and colleges to accommodate additional numbers of graduate holders of teaching staff, and facilitate small business registration procedures for young people between the ages of 18 to 35 years, and to refer government projects to these companies on favorable terms, and support young people to work in the collection of electricity bills. The formation of committees in the provinces to follow up the decisions of the Council of Ministers on meeting the demands of the demonstrators, headed by one of the ministers and members of the House of Representatives and the governor and a lead of police and a representative from the office of the Prime Minister to follow up on implementation. Report this ad. And the formation of a committee in cooperation with the judiciary to follow up on the missing files from the sons of Iraq and all the provinces to know their fate, as we started measures to accelerate the return of families that fled from the oppression to the focus here liberated, especially in the province of Nineveh, and in the areas of Sinjar, and the Rock Cliff and others, and to make additional efforts to reconstruction, and other decisions. We will continue to develop additional solutions in response to the demands of the demonstrators and to achieve our ministerial approach. We issue them successively package after study as much as possible so as not to give promises do not provide the requirements for implementation. Report this ad. Someone might say, why do you pay attention to all this now, and you have overlooked it during the last period? Our answer, these reform decisions, some of which were under implementation, and some under study, and some developed in response to the demands of the demonstrators. but the sagging of the state, and the proliferation of legislative and administrative impediments, and dependencies, cultures and narrow selfish interests competing in our three powers, and between the various forces, hinder the real reform, and puts us in contradiction with the aspirations and desires of our people and fulfill the promises of reform, which justifies the demonstration and gives him full legitimacy to remind everyone that there are two ways. Report this ad. As for advancing forward, with boldness and courage, to overcome all obstacles, achieve the aspirations of our people, and give everyone who has a right, and this requires the support and cooperation of the people, or stay within the framework of justifications and procrastination and prosthetic solutions that lose a people's confidence in their government and is one of the most important factors of the spread of injustice and chaos and outlaw and order. When the state is not an adult, everyone loses his senses. On the level of comprehensive reform, we have already affirmed the full commitment of the government to the text of the Supreme Religious Reference Sermon. Report this ad. It has diagnosed the path and has drawn a roadmap for reform. It has returned us to be the safety valve for this country in its crises, and to diagnose the features of the solution with its vision, insightful, and her usual wisdom. The roadmap drawn up by the Supreme Reference included the formation of a committee of personalities known for competence and integrity, and defined the scope of work of the committee. The word upper reference is the word in the diagnosis and treatment. The government immediately began to identify the names to which these specifications apply, and to provide the required logistical support to enable the committee to carry out its work with complete independence, and to communicate with the demonstrators and the various segments of the community and concerned, and to be informed of the proceedings and all the data required in its work. Report this ad. We will announce the names of the members of the committee within a week, to start its work as soon as possible, provided that the committee to submit its periodic recommendations to the government and the authorities concerned to begin direct implementation. The committee shall submit its full recommendations within a period not exceeding 45 days. The role of the committee shall, after completion of its work, become an advisory role to follow up on its recommendations and ensure their implementation as it deems appropriate, and to provide advice to remedy the obstacles of unforeseen implementation. Report this ad. In addition, we have issued a package of decisions, or are about to be issued, related to the fight against corruption. These are a few examples of many decisions and actions, including, the state stopped at a time you will determine any payment in paper currency, but the release of instruments and smart card that prevent manipulation, encouraging those who receive sukuk to open bank accounts to get rid of money laundering and corruption. Full stop. Conducting a wide-ranging campaign to uncover and falsify public and private land and real estate registries and seize public and private property for personal interests. Report this ad. Within hours, we will issue a preliminary list of the referral of a number of senior officials to the courts to complete the list issued about a week ago by 1,000 employees. Refer to the judiciary. Honourable people. We will ask the House of Representatives to vote on cabinet reshuffles tomorrow, and the Council of Ministers will vote next Tuesday on the candidates of the Federal Service Council, to submit to the House of Representatives to vote on it. We will submit before the 24th of the month our lists to end the file owners' degrees agency. In addition to the legislation related to the amendment of the election law and to make some constitutional amendments in accordance with the mechanisms of the Constitution and the Budget Law of 2020, and other basic laws required to put the country on the right track, and all this requires the cooperation of all authorities, forces and blocs in accordance with the Constitution and the law. We are moving forward with the implementation of our government program as we will receive at the end of this month the second report of what has been achieved or not achieved for the period from the end of April to the end of October 2019. I do not promise my people rosy promises, and I do not say that these steps are the end of the road, but is the beginning. Let us all cooperate to achieve the interests of our people, especially the poor segments of the masses of our youth and our generations on which the future of our country depends. Our armed forces will protect the army, police, popular, tribal, and Peshmerga of our political system, the rights of our people, the security of our homeland, the sovereignty and independence of our country. The greatest protector after Allah Almighty is the brave and noble Iraqi people. I say frankly, that we, according to our current data, do not accuse any country with which we have friendly relations or cooperation, nor any known political force or parties or media. All of these have an interest in continuing calm and stability in the country and maintain our security and our political system, although different look. Here I thank the large number of friendly countries and international institutions that have contacted and expressed their support and solidarity with the government and people of Iraq, especially the neighboring countries, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iran, Turkey and Syria. I reiterate my thanks to everyone who stood up in defense of Iraq, for the rights of its people, for its constitution and democratic system, and the freedoms guaranteed therein. O God, save our people and our country, and all of those who suffer a speedy recovery, and sheath our martyrs through your mercy, and inspire their loved ones, and inspire all of us, patience and solace. and I am to God, and I am back to him. The people of God